This podcast is sponsored by nobody. Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be welcoming back the gorgeous, the lovely, the oh so talented Kimbra Westervelt, and we're going to finish our nerd out that we started last September. For those of you who may have missed that episode, what happened was we spent just under an hour talking about her career, and I didn't know she was going to be so forthcoming, and I didn't know she had so much to talk about it, that we started the nerd out just before the hour was up, talking about movies, and we talked about movies for about 25 minutes or so, and then she told me she had to go pretty soon. So then I just talked about her podcast, and then we played the Secret Silly game. But now she's coming back on, and we're going to talk about television and music, and I'm pretty excited about it. And check out her podcast, Candid with Kimbra. I was on there right after we did this first interview last fall, and it was fantastic. I'm so happy. I cannot tell you, to have her back on to finish the nerd out and just have some fun. It's going to be another great conversation. She's just a positive, awesome person. This is the next to last episode for spring April and the last nerd out for April, and I'm pretty happy. So yeah, here is my new interview with Kimbra Westervelt.
Hi, Tommy.
Hey, Kimbra, welcome back. How are you today, love?
Good. How are you?
Well, despite the fact that the world's getting crazier and crazier every day, I am blessed. I can't complain.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's like a lot of things going on, but I remain optimistic.
Yeah.
I have hope no matter what.
Yeah. And I'm so happy to be back here with you.
Oh, thank you. I know. How often do you record your shows?
Every day, pretty much.
You do?
Except the weekends. Well, sometimes I'll have one on the weekend, but that's rare nowadays.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because if your guest can only come on the weekend, maybe.
Yeah, pretty much. So when we last left off, I had one more question about movies. Did you grow up going to the drive-in?
I didn't really go to the drive-in, but I'm sure I did at least once because I had these cousins, and my aunt had, four boys,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure at least one time she dragged me to the drive-in. Did you go to the drive-in a lot?
Oh, since I was 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they have them? I don't think they really have them anymore, huh?
In select places they do, but just not as often as they used to.
Yeah, I remember vaguely it was like, didn't you have to put a thing on the side of your window?
Yeah, it's like a speaker. Yeah, it was a little speaker to hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, what's so funny is I read somewhere that they in a city somewhere they're doing the drive-in concept again, but
Mm-hmm.
now it's like you go through your phone. Sorry, you go through your where you get your radio
Mm-hmm.
and where you get your music, your audio, and so now they don't have the thing on the side of the car anymore.
Yeah. Well, they started that at the end. Before our drive-in closed down, they started doing that radio
Oh,
thing. And to tell you the truth,
oh,
it,
good.
it, it barely worked back then. I'm sure it works better now, but back then it was like, okay, we rather have the speaker, you know?
Oh, that's so true because sometimes as things get more sophisticated, like there's all these things that could go wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm going to turn the tables. What movies did you see at the drive-in?
Oh, I can remember them all starting at 2. Because you always remember your destiny, and you don't know it's your destiny until hindsight. And I think I was meant to
Sure.
remember all the movies I saw at the drive-in and the movie theater in general. Like, my parents took me to see Weird Science and Rambo 2 the very first time they took me when I was 2 years old. Um, I saw Spies Like Us, Star Trek 4, The Golden Child, Ruthless People, Down and Out in Beverly Hills.
Oh, those are classics. Those are classics.
Yeah, yeah, Light of Day with Michael J. Fox and Joan Jett.
Hey, what about okay, so let's go back Down and Out in Beverly Hills. Wasn't that the one with Nick Nolte?
Yes, he's the homeless guy, and Richard Dreyfuss is the rich
Yes.
guy. Yes, and you know he turns the house upside down. He starts screwing both the maid and his wife, Bette Midler. Yep.
That what I mean. I vaguely remember that movie. I would love to see it again because I know that gosh, Bette Midler, she had a great scene in it, with Richard Dreyfuss, where
Hmm.
I'm sure you know what scene I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
and, and then didn't Nick Nolte like do the thing with the dog? Like he got on his hands and knees and ate the dog food or something,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Oh my God, that was gross.
Oh my gosh, that was such a what a clever idea, and I'm trying to remember the name of the director of that guy.
Oh,
I mean, the
Paul
director of that movie.
Mazursky.
That's right, Paul Mazurinsky. He was a great director.
Oh yeah, he used to.
Because when I was
Mhm.
at, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say he
What,
made Bob and Ted and Carol and Alice, and I used to go to swinger
that
parties, and
classic,
we used to watch that movie all the time.
whoa, Tommy.
Yep.
You know what? I hate to confess, I've never seen that movie, and I know it's a classic,
Hmm.
but I would really like to see that movie because I've seen a lot of classic movies because my dad used to always, not, I don't want to say force me, but he'd say, like, hey, we got a great movie tonight. And he would show me like movies from gosh, those old black and white comedy shows with Imogene Coca and
Sid Caesar, your show
gosh,
shows. Yeah.
Sid Caesar, yeah,
Yeah.
shows. He would show me all those things. Like he'd say, oh, he would try to educate me about classic TV, you know.
Hmm.
And my dad was into classic old movies, and he showed me, gosh, what was another one that he showed me was, all the James Dean movies and Marlon Brando, of course. So he was more into film, but the ones you're talking about, his sister, my aunt Dawn, she took me to as a kid to see all those kinds of movies too.
Yeah.
So she was one with the kind of the weird sense of humor and stuff.
Yeah.
She was more racy.
Yep. We're all that way in my family. We're not prudes in my family.
that's that's why you came out with such a good sense of humor.
Yep. Yep.
um, Bob Ted's Bob, what was it? Bob, Carol,
Bob
Ted, and Alice.
Bob and Ted and Carol and Alice.
Yeah, that's the one. And that had was that Natalie?
Natalie Wood, Robert Culp, Elliot Gould, and Diane Cannon.
That's right. That's right. Hey, did you ever see that movie called Splendor in the Grass?
Oh, one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, I don't know if we talked about this last time, but that I just thought that was like the best performance by Natalie Wood.
Hmm. Yeah.
Such and heartbreaking, right?
Yeah, one of her best. Absolute best.
You're a real movie buff, huh?
I own over 2,000 movies in my personal collection.
You do?
Yep, of both VHS and DVD.
So you're one of those kind of guys that's never going to throw away your VHSs, huh?
No, I have a collection and beautiful boxes too.
Oh, I know. I've got DVDs from like being in the TV Academy and SAG. They used to send them to us, to vote
Oh
for
yeah.
consideration. And I have these classic collections, and I just, I keep them kind of on my bookshelf at the bottom because I
Hmm.
just hate to get rid of them.
Yeah, there's a character actor, Carmine Caridi. He had a scandal in the 2000s. He
Okay.
he was getting all these movies sent to him to vote for the Academy, and
Hmm.
he was selling them as bootlegs on eBay.
Oh my God. They have a tracker on there, like they can trace it somehow.
Now they do, but back then they didn't.
Oh. Oh wow. So did he get in bad trouble?
He did. I don't know what the outcome was, but I remember hearing about it and going, "Wow!" I mean, anybody can do anything. It's weird how that kind of shit can happen. You know?
Oh, I know. I remember I had an aunt who was also in the TV Academy, and she had all these, VHSs. And so I did some research, and I said, I found out you can donate those VHSs to, like, gosh, like senior homes,
Hmm.
because you're not technically supposed to give them away if you get them through the TV Academy or through SAG.
Yeah.
But if I believe they make an exception, like for these like senior homes, or you can send them to the military. But I don't even think they could watch them that way anymore. So there you go.
Yeah.
Um, but God, the movie theater, I would love to go to a drive-in movie though. I think that would be so much fun if they could, if there was any of them that were close to where I live. But
Yeah.
there used to be one called the Santa Fe, I think it's called like Santa Fe Springs or something, but it's like off of the freeway when you're going to LA.
Hmm.
And now it's just like a big swap meet place or something. Like they sell clothes there on the weekends.
Huh. Interesting.
So yeah. Anyway, but what about TV? Like, what were your favorite TV shows growing up?
Yes. Perfect transition into television. I watched, I watched all the primetime stuff that was on in my generation, but I watched the 60s generation of my parents, 50s, 60s, Munsters, Adam's Family, Get Smart, F Troop, Leave It to Beaver, I Dream of Jeannie. Oh, I tell this story all the time. So, there was that scandal with Jeannie's belly button being shown, right?
Yes, that's classic television history, right?
Right. And what happened was there was a reporter on set who took a picture of her in her costume while the pilot was being filmed. It hadn't even aired yet. It wasn't even finished, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the picture was plastered all over newspapers, and it created this big old scandal and stuff. So they had to reshoot it without her belly button being shown. So then 2 years later, Barbara Luna and Nichelle Nichols showed their belly buttons on Star Trek because Gene Roddenberry wanted to break that rule once and for all, and he did.
Oh.
And I got to meet Barbara Luna at the Hollywood show last June because she's been on the show before, and
Mm-hmm.
she let me touch her belly button during our selfie.
Wait, Gene Roddenberry, he broke a lot of barriers, huh? Like with the racial stuff too.
Yes, I mean he was a very progressive, and I think that's why the show, all the Star Trek stuff is so successful, is because people recognize the humanity in it. You know?
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, I didn't realize that he did not had done that about the belly button, like you said.
Yeah.
Um, William Shatner is going to be at a autograph show here in LA coming up soon. I was going to try to go to that because I want to get him for my podcast.
I've heard he could be a little much, but if you can do it, good luck.
I know, but he's so. I heard him on. I know we talked about this before that you like Mark Maron,
Yeah.
and he was on the Mark Maron podcast,
Yes.
and for like I don't know, like 6 months, a year before Mark went off the air, and
2 years
um,
actually.
oh, was it two? Well, thank
Yeah.
you for knowing the date, but it was a while before I knew that. But
Hmm.
anyway, he was so sharp. I thought William Shatner was really lucid. He kind of gave Mark a run for his money. I
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
He called him out on a couple little things. I thought, well, good for him. I
Oh
guess when
yeah.
you're in your 90s,
He
you don't
did.
care, and
He did to him,
right?
and he did to Chevy Chase that same year too.
Really?
Yeah. It was
Wow, that's
great.
so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like I guess when you're in your 90s, or I'm assuming he was in his 90s at that point, and it's like
Yeah.
you don't give a what at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's sharp. He's sharp. He's a sharp one. Do you miss Mark Maron not being on the air?
Every day. In fact, I was thinking about it
Oh,
today because Thursday was one of the days that it used to air, and I was just
that's
thinking,
right.
God, I see people plugging stuff right now, right? I'm thinking, God, Marin would be great talking to that person right now.
Yeah, it's so funny because he's different, than other podcasters, and I,
Yeah.
I think I liked it because I guess I got invested in him, which not all podcasters do. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they don't talk about themselves so much, but I actually enjoyed. I think for him, it was almost like a little mini therapy session, you know.
Right. Right.
And
Um,
I try to do that. Go ahead. Sorry.
what were your sitcoms and stuff you watched growing up?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Well, so my mom was a big fan of the Sonny and Cher show, so I
Ah,
got to see that in
loved it.
the later years. Did you ever watch the Sonny and Cher show?
Yeah, I watched it on Nick at Night when I was like 10,
Yes,
11, 12 years old. And
exactly.
I just remember, God, Cher would just rip into Sonny during the monologue, and it was always hilarious.
I know she was kind of like an icon
Hmm.
for many on many levels, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, she was so I remember seeing her, you know, on TV out in the reruns, and I used to imitate her like as a small kid, like when I was about 5 years old. That was like my one of my first after she actually had her own show
Hmm.
after that,
Yeah, the Cher
and
show.
yeah, and I did for my mom because I was always trying to entertain. When I was like 5 or 6 years old, I did an impersonation of Cher, and that was like my first thing that I thought, I can kind of sing, in my brain, my childlike brain.
Yeah.
And luckily I was right, but I just always remember that being one of my first memories. But and then and did you ever see any of the incarnations of the Brady Bunch?
All of them. I mean, I'm a huge devoted fan of the Brady Bunch. Um, I watched the original show. I watched
Hmm.
the Kroc Brothers variety show, which was awful, but it was still entertaining. All the reunions.
Yeah,
I never understood that reunion they did in the early 90s where it was like a daytime soap opera. Oh my God, it was weird.
I never saw that one, but now it doesn't make me want to see it.
It's on YouTube, and let me tell you, Kimbra. Oh my God, you see all sorts of daytime drama scenarios on the Brady Bunch on that show. It's gonna be really really weird when you see it.
You know, the actress, gosh, not Eve Plum, but the one that plays Marsha, drawing
Maureen
a blank.
McCormick.
Yeah, Murray McCormick.
Mhm.
She she looks so good. I mean, she's still, I don't know if she's still acting, but I saw her
Mhm.
recently and I thought, wow, she looks really great.
Yeah, she's always looking good, always.
I know that Marsha, right?
Yeah. I saw a picture of her recently with Christine Taylor, who played the young
Oh
Marcia in the
yeah,
movies. And God,
right.
they just look like sisters. It's so weird how that works out.
That's so funny. I have a friend. Shout out to Victor, my one of my best friends, and he was a big Brady Bunch fanatic, right?
Hmm.
So this is a funny story. So one day I was having, let's just say I didn't want to go out with someone that asked me out, right?
Yeah.
And he told me about this episode of the Brady Bunch. He goes, there was an episode of the Brady Bunch where Marsha, no, not Marsha, Jan,
Hmm.
they're teasing her, I guess, because she didn't have a boyfriend or something.
Hmm.
And he's like, you got to invent your fake boyfriend,
Yeah.
and his name is George Glass.
Yes. Yes, George Glass.
I guess that was one of the more famous episodes, right?
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I like a lot of episodes centered around Jan. Um,
Yes.
I like the one where she is running for most popular girl in school, and she makes campaign promises she can't keep, and she's just such a dilute-noid in that episode. It's so great.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, Jan Eve Plum. She and I think I actually met the younger one, Susan Olsen. Is that her
Susan
name? Susan Olsen.
Olsen, yeah, the one who's a Trumper.
Oh, is she?
Yeah,
I met her at some kind of the Hollywood Museum function or something, and she
yeah.
was there, and I didn't really talk to her, but I'm sure I shook her hand or something. But they all look really good. Oh, and do you know that there's that kind of little drama going on, but I think it's okay now about the house there in the
Oh,
valley, the San Fernando Valley.
yeah.
I think, okay, so HGTV bought it, but now it's still there. Like they were going to tear it down, and then I think HGTV bought it or something like that.
Yeah, I've been
You know,
hearing about that for years, about the house and the controversy of that. And, I've always wanted to go over there and see it for myself,
oh,
because it's a landmark.
oh my God, I have seen it. You of all people should go see it because
Yeah.
I was there, and my friend who grew up in the San Fernando Valley, and she's kind of a historian about. She took me around to all these landmarks in the valley,
Hmm.
and she's like, so she took me there. Her name's Michelle Murata, and she took me there.
Right.
And so anyway, there's a guard sitting, by the house. There's always a guard there, and
Hmm.
but he was really nice. He was like, I said, "Can I take pictures?" And he was like, "Yeah, just don't, go on the lawn and blah blah blah." But it's a really fun. It looks just like I don't know what it looks like inside. Probably not like it
Hmm.
was on the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you of all people have to go there.
I'll definitely check it out. I mean, I'm sure the stairway looks exactly the same as it did, though.
Probably that famous stairwell.
And that horse
No,
statue. I wonder if that horse statue is still there.
oh my gosh, that's so funny. And what about the episode? Wasn't that funny episode where they were like singing like on a TV show? What
Oh
was
yeah,
that one where
we
they're
gotta keep on, keep on, keep on dancing all through the night. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was hilarious. It was
Yeah.
hilarious. That is I mean, they've done so many things with the Brady Bunch though. They like you said did the movie, the TV or the theatrical movie of it
Yep.
with
Two of
Christy
them.
Taylor.
Yep. Hmm.
Yep. And then they did gosh, wasn't there like a live play? Like a live I feel like for a while there was this interactive Brady Bunch show that was touring at least in LA. I don't know if you ever heard about it, but it was like a
No.
live interactive Brady Bunch show.
I maybe I
Did
don't
you
know.
ever
I probably heard
you did
about
hear
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was so what I'm trying to say is like that show is the show that like they probably never thought that, when they first came up with the concept that it was going to be such a like iconic show, right?
No, no, I don't think you could say that about most of those shows back then. Like the Partridge Family or the Monkees. Um,
Right.
so many of them. I'm a huge Monkees fan too. I grew up. I had a crush on Davy, and I saw them live once. Oh my God.
Well, you know what? One of my good friends, he's been sort of like a mentor. His name's Barry Richards. He actually wrote songs with Bobby Hart,
Oh yeah,
and I think I might have told you the story before,
I
but
seen your interview with Bobby.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was on. But anyway, Rick Barry's always telling me these stories about him and Bobby and how the thing with the monkeys came about, and
Hmm.
I remember just thought that was so fascinating. And I did a play with Mickey Dolenz daughter. Like, gosh, we were
Amy.
both really young. Yeah, I did a play with
Hmm.
Amy like years ago, and it was in Hollywood at
Hmm.
theater called. It was called the Tamarind Theater. It's called something else now, but she was so sweet. So it's just interesting, how so many degrees of separation of people, like
Yeah.
Bobby Hart, Amy Dolenz, but yeah. Oh, okay. So talked about Sunny and Cher. We talked about that. So I don't know if you were into the show, but I was really young when it first came out. But Charlie's Angels. Do you remember Charlie's
Yep,
Angels?
yep. I mean, I'm not a hardcore devotee, but I did love Charlie's Angels growing up. And I gotta tell you, Kimbra, I gotta tell you,
Yeah.
I have interviewed so many actors who guest starred on that show, and
Really?
yes, and they all loved that show until they worked on it. They said that the girls
Uh,
were catty and competitive and just not very
really?
nice to the guest stars.
Oh, that's so sad because I know they did a thing at the gosh, I want to say the Paley Museum or something, but they
Hmm.
did like a reunion with Kate Jackson and Jacqueline Smith and Cheryl Ladd and Jacqueline. I always thought I was like Jacqueline Smith because she seemed so classy, like
Yeah,
she just seemed supportive of all of them, and she was like it was about girl empowerment and friendship, and that
yeah.
makes me sad that you say that.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that makes sense because they all went on to pretty good careers afterwards, but they all
Right.
had that like, I'm a star quality to them.
Yeah, and I know I did read some things about Charlie's Angels that they said that they developed the show and they were thinking that Kate Jackson was going to be the star. Like they developed it around her,
Yeah.
and then Farrah and Jack, but Farrah, really took off, and so Kate Jackson. I don't know if she was. I don't know if she was jealous, but it was just
Yeah.
like she thought she was going to be the star, and
Yeah.
then somebody else was.
Yeah, and oh God, Kate Jackson was at the Hollywood show last year when I went, and she was the only one there wearing a COVID mask. Like nobody else
Oh,
did, and she was charging a lot of money for an autograph, so I decided not to get one.
oh, yeah. Well, it's funny. I saw her one time. I was helping somebody. I was at a Halloween party actually, and it was right on Fryman Canyon, which is like it's a part of the San Fernando Valley, but it's kind of like you're going over to Hollywood. There's a really beautiful canyon, and there's some really nice houses. And Kate Jackson brought her little boy around, so
Yeah.
you know, and she didn't seem overly friendly, but I don't really know her, so
Yeah.
I can't say one way or another.
She did this great movie called Making Love. It was a very controversial movie
Oh,
where Michael Ontekian, who she had been on The Rookies with in the 70s, he cheats on her for Harry Hamlin. He ends up being gay. And
okay,
this script was so controversial. Every big name in Hollywood turned it down because they thought it was going to ruin their career. Because back then, being gay was a stigma kind of a thing, you know.
sure.
And so Goldie Hawn turned down to play the female lead. Harrison Ford turned down to play the husband, and Jeff Bridges turned down to play the lover. And I'm sure there was a lot more than that, but those are the three I remember hearing.
Well, that was kind of brave of her to do it then.
Yeah,
Right?
that's what I mean. I like it. And what's his name? Arthur Hiller, the great director, directed it.
Hmm. Um, and here, did you said Harry Hamlin, right? Wasn't
Yeah,
he in it
Harry
too?
Hamlin.
Yeah. He's I like Harry Hamlin. I don't know. Did we talk about this before? Did you ever watch the show Mom?
No, no, I know about it though.
Oh my God, it's one of my favorite TV shows. It's on Netflix right now. They're doing like they put it up on Netflix, so I've been rewatching all of them.
Hmm.
And it's a great show because it's about three. It's carried by women, right? So
Hmm.
there's like four, five, six women leads, and
Yeah.
they're all in AA. That's how they know each other,
Hmm.
And it's the funniest show because the lines on that show are so funny. But Harry Hamlin had a guest recurring spot. I don't know. I think he was on at least two,
Hmm.
where he played the love interest of the daughter Christy, who's played by I'm drawing a blank on her name, the actress, but she in the show her name's Christy.
Hmm.
Anyway, so Harry Hamlin plays this really like jerky, like he owns all these Hyundai dealerships,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he's like this sort of rich guy that dates her, and he's kind of controlling. But anyway, he was really good on the show. So
That's
it was a
cool.
moment. Yeah, if you ever get a chance to check out that show, I think you might like it.
Okay.
Something.
Did you watch children's programming like Mister Rogers or Schoolhouse Rock or anything like that?
I feel so not underprivileged, but what's the I was denied all those shows. I don't know why. I think my dad used to read to me as a kid, and they didn't really let me. That's not that they didn't let me watch TV, but they didn't promote that a lot.
Hmm.
It was more. My dad was a big reader, so he was always trying to read to me. But I have good friends that grew up on Mr. Rogers, so they tell me about it.
Yeah.
That was like their babysitter. Is that what happened to you?
Yeah, I'd watch Mister Rogers and then Sesame Street, and then this is on PBS. So then I'd turn on Nickelodeon, and I'd see this show called Pinwheel that was kind of a rip off of the Electric Company. It was a Canadian show, and then I'd
Hmm.
see the Elephant Show with Sharon, Lois, and Bram. I'm trying to get Sharon on the show. She's like her and Bram are the only two left of the three. Um, they were like a folk trio from Canada who had like a kids show, and I'd watch those shows. I watched this other Canadian show, Today's Special, about this mannequin who becomes human when his hat comes off, and It was an interesting show. It had puppets and everything. So yeah, I'd watch stuff like that.
Yeah, well, that's probably semi wholesome entertainment, right?
Yeah.
uh, but when you were growing up, did you ever see, I mean, this is kind of way different, but did you ever watch any of the Saturday Night Live stuff when you were growing up too?
Oh, lots of Saturday Night Live. I started with the original cast because they showed them on Nick at Night, and
Sure.
yes, and then by the time I was 11, I got into the then current cast, and then I've been a devotee of Saturday Night Live ever since. But I love
Yeah.
the original cast the most. The stuff that they got away with, I can't believe.
Well, that's true. I mean, I didn't really see the original cast. I didn't start watching it till, gosh, it was probably like Dana Carvey
Yeah,
and Mike Myers, you know?
yeah,
And that's when I really, took notice of it. And then I went back and saw the originals, like with, John Belushi, of course. But
yeah.
I mean, he, to me, was probably at least top five most talented of the show, John
Yes,
Belushi, because
yes.
he was just so fearless, right?
Yeah, he was fearless, and just with those eyebrows, he was just hilarious. And
I know it's so sad, and his career was cut so because I saw a documentary about him on Netflix. I think he was only like 30 when he died, right?
33.
33. Yeah, I knew he was really, really young, and because I saw this show where they talk about all these stars that died at a very young age or drug overdoses or something, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, John Belushi, and I didn't realize he was so like he was a jock before he got famous, and
Yes.
he was like Mr. Popular All American Boy kind of thing,
Yeah.
and it's so sad, so sad.
It is. It is.
Try
Uh,
to keep up. Try to keep up. Okay. So what about did you ever watch or did you like Phil Hartman?
I loved Phil Hartman. I remember him as Captain Carl and Pee Wee's Playhouse and the Pee Wee Herman Show. I always loved him, and like everybody I talk to and everybody I know from the Groundlings says they loved him and they miss him so much.
I know he's another one. Like supposedly everybody loved the guy, and he
Yeah.
just like seemed so normal,
I tried to get his first wife to come on the podcast years ago, and she was kind of mean, I'll be honest with you. I see her in interviews. She's just this
Yeah,
free spirited bohemian artist type. But when I tried
sure.
to get in touch with her, I don't know what was up with her. She's like, I'm done doing interviews about Phil, especially after that last one I did on ABC. I'm like, okay, well, it was great. It wasn't exploitive or anything.
And also, if she came on yours, she could like kind of rectify maybe things that she wanted to be rectified,
Yeah,
right?
but she completely turned me down. This was like 7 years
Oh,
ago, but it's okay. It's okay.
you're
Uh,
on to bigger and better fish.
yep.
Yeah. So I recently it's coming out tomorrow with Martha Davis and the Motels. But
Oh,
when I was a,
love them.
Did you like the Motels?
Yeah, any band from the Bay Area, I love because
Oh, that's right.
Bay Area
That's
had
right.
so many great bands.
Ah, I know she. I was kind of in my formative years, like young when I first heard her songs, and I was like, she was very. I really loved her voice, but um, I don't know. There was just something about those songs that I thought were really good.
Yeah,
And from all that new wave group of the other performers that were her contemporaries, for me, I guess because she was a female led band, and I just
hmm
really admired her.
yeah, I,
And so when I met someone that knows her, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get her on the podcast. And she's going on tour right now. It's good. Like she's got a couple Southern California dates, and
so
then
so are you saying that you're interviewing her tomorrow?
well, it's coming out tomorrow.
Ah, yes, I can't wait.
Yeah, thank you.
Can't
Yeah,
wait.
I'll send it to you. But yeah, it was a really great. She's so down to earth, and she lives on a farm now in Portland, Oregon, outside of
Oh,
Portland,
nice,
and
nice.
yeah, and like 72 acres. I was like, whoa, that's like a big farm.
Yeah,
And she's really,
I wonder
and
if
we,
she. I
and then
wonder. I wonder if she knows the Rosses from Quarter Flash. Rindy Ross and her husband Marv. Marv's been on the show.
Oh, Quarter Flash. I remember that band. Yeah. God, what
Yeah,
was their big? I forgot now. I'm gonna harden my heart.
yeah,
Right? Isn't
love
that
it.
the song?
I love it.
I knew it. Yeah, there were so many great bands of that time period. I didn't know you were. So you were really into music too, then,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So getting into music, my dad had a rock band when I was a kid,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, they were called TNA, Tommy and two guys named Alan, and they were a trio. They did Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, Leonard Skinner covers, and they did
Oh
their
wow.
own original songs, and they were so misogynistic and over the top and bad, and they knew it.
And did they do that on purpose? I mean, like,
Yeah,
because with the name
yeah,
TNA.
because they're such nice guys. I mean, they're the kind of guys that you can trust with your own wife, but they just wanted to like debunk that just for humor, you know? And I would go to their rehearsals. They started out having rehearsals in the garage, right? And then when my grandma moved back in, she was like, "You all sound like a bunch of idiots." So then they rented a space to go rehearse.
I mean, is your dad still doing music at all? For a
No,
hobby?
no, he's got like his acoustic guitars he picks up and plays every now and then, but no, he doesn't pursue music anymore.
That might be a good outlet for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he loves music, and so on vinyl he had everything. He had the Beatles, Beach Boys, Rolling Stones, Carole King's
Oh yeah.
Tapestry, Frank Zappa, Captain Beefheart. I mean, he was very eclectic.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that because I've always been that way too. Like, I always tell the story about, okay, so I had my one of my best friends growing up. Her older sister was our babysitter when, after school, junior high and high school, and my friend's older sister turned us on to all these classic rock bands like that we
Hmm.
would have never heard of, right? And she's like, "You got
Yeah.
to check out Rod Stewart. You got to listen to this one. You got to, you got to listen to this band. It's called Queen." And so she was the one that indoctrinated me into all that rock music.
Hmm.
So you always have to have one of those, like, like your dad, older influences. But my dad was more into mellow stuff. Like he was into the Eagles, Bonnie Raitt, Linda Ronstadt. So he turned me on to all that. So I had really eclectic taste too, because I liked rock, but I liked the mellow stuff too. You
Hmm.
know?
Yeah, I'm a huge 80s hair metal guy. Um, yeah, you know Mark Ferrari. He's been on your show. I've had
Sure.
I've had him on, and I've had so many hair metal guys. I love all of them.
Oh,
I love all of them, even the most obscure ones. And my dad, he hated that era. There was some stuff he liked, but not a lot. But he was a huge Guns N' Roses fan. He played Guns N'
yeah.
Roses in TNA as well, and he used to play "Sweet Child of Mine" like almost dead on in the guitar department.
Wow. Well, Guns N' Roses was just kind of like a phenomenon. They were
Hmm.
just they were from the hair metal period, but they kind of just broke through. I guess
Yeah,
because they had like top 10 hits. I guess they called them that back then,
yeah.
top 10,
They
right?
were they were totally different, but yet they hung out with all those guys. I remember
Yeah,
Slash saying when he was on Marin, he says, "We hung out with Dawkins and Great White. We didn't like their music, but we loved the drugs that they had."
that is so funny. That's so interesting because I remember reading this, or someone told me, I can't remember, but they were at this concert, and what was that guy's name that was in that really, oh my God, that big hair metal band? I'm trying to think. He had big, big hair, and it'll come to me. But he hung out with Howard Stern. Do you know who I'm talking about? The
Oh, Dee
guy with the
Snider, Twisted Sister.
Yes, Dee
Yes.
Snider. Yes. So I either read this or someone told me, but they were at this concert and Elvis Costello. It was in England, and so Elvis Costello was there, and I'm thinking, how funny that Elvis Costello was at that to see Dee Snider's band.
Yeah.
But in Europe, they're a little bit more like, they hang out with different types. Like, not, if you're metal, you don't, you all meld together a little more.
Hmm.
And I'm kind of like that. Like, I like so many different, because I like a lot of country music, and I like country rock, and a lot of the rock people I play with, they're always like, no, I don't. That's one thing I don't like country. I'm like, but I like everything. You know.
Yeah, me too. I love,
So
I love Motown. I got that from my mom. My
yes,
mom's a big Motown fan. And
Really?
yeah, just oldies, pop, one-hit wonders and stuff. I've always loved those and stuff. Yeah, I was just raised with lots of eclectic tastes. I love '80s new wave. I found out that you're a Duran Duran fan. I am a major Duran Duran fan.
Yes, it's so funny. One of my girlfriends, I met her on a commercial, and she was talking about Duran Duran, and I was like, oh my god, I got to go see because they hadn't played, or at least I didn't know they were playing like
Yeah,
for maybe 10 years, right? So then I went to go see him again at the Hollywood Bowl, I believe it was, and a bunch of groups, a bunch of women, like we all went together. There was like 10 of us,
yeah.
and then I have two friends that are such devotees of Duran Duran. They actually went to like Spain to see them on their
Hmm.
special tour up there, and they just follow them everywhere.
Yeah,
But yeah, I always liked John. What was it, John Taylor? Right? I always thought the cute
John
one. He was the
Taylor.
cute one.
John
Yeah,
Taylor.
uh, yeah, John Taylor. And their new the last I bought their CD. It was called Paper Dolls, I believe,
Uh-huh.
which came about maybe 7, 8 years ago, and I thought that was pretty good actually.
Yeah,
So
I interviewed Russell Mulcahy, who directed all their music videos, and
really,
yeah, oh God, check this out. When they did the Rio video, they went
yeah.
swimming. They went swimming after hours, and they almost got eaten by sharks. Like they were like right in the middle of that Sri Lanka water, and there were sharks nearby, and so they frickin' just swam for their lives to get to land.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, their videos were like legendary. Like I think when MTV was it's the big, thing was like I think their videos were the ones that kind of like broke them, made them
Yeah.
basically,
They
right?
they were like the French New Wave music videos in their
Yeah.
style that Russell had directed. They did this video that got banned. It was called "The Chauffeur." That's the name of the song. Where
Okay.
these two androgynous looking women get naked and they're dancing in this parking lot. That's the premise of the video, right? And I own the VHS tape that they won a Grammy for of that
Yeah.
video album, and I used
Yeah.
to bring dates home and we'd watch it, and then pretty soon we'd end up in bed watching that Chauffeur video.
Tell me
Yeah,
you're a bad boy.
I am a bad boy. I'm so sweet, but I'm also so bad.
Yeah. So I heard something you just said a minute ago. Your grandmother, is she still with us?
Oh, she died in 2002.
Oh, okay, so it's been a while. But was she kind of an influence on you too, like as far as your like either TV or music, or not music maybe, but film and TV? Did she
Oh,
ever have any influence?
big time. She, I was 5 when TNT got launched, and so
Okay.
she used to tell me about the classic movies that she grew up on when we would watch them and stuff. Um, I've told the story 100 times, but I'll keep telling it. I wanted to watch Gone with the Wind when I was
Oh,
7, right?
okay.
And she wouldn't
Mhm.
let me do it. She was like, "That movie will take about a week to watch. It's so long." And I believed that, right? But I finally bought the movie at Christmas time and watched it. It was 3 hours and 55 minutes. I loved every moment of it. I can't believe my grandmother told me that.
Well, wait a minute. So when did you buy it? Was it recently?
This past Christmas, yeah.
Oh, so that was the first time you saw it?
Yeah, my dad told me when I was 20, he said, "Wait till you're 30 to watch Gone with the Wind. You'll appreciate it more." Well, I waited till I was 42.
That's so funny. Um, yeah, I had an old boyfriend who was like a big Gone with the Wind. He loved that. It was like his favorite movie of all time or something.
Yeah.
And so, oh gosh, it was playing once at a old theater in Hollywood somewhere. And so he's like, "You got to go see this with me." And to see it on the big screen like that was pretty amazing. It was like, it was one of
Mm.
those like an IMAX almost. It was that big.
Uh-huh.
And now I guess it's considered kind of controversial or something. I don't know. I was reading somewhere where
Yeah.
like if they play it on TV, they put like a disclaimer or something.
Yeah, I didn't see anything wrong with it. I was like, no, that's how it was back then. Not just
Well,
in
yeah.
not just when it was made, but in the old centuries. That's how it was. It's sad,
sure.
but it's true.
Well,
Unfortunately.
of course.
And
That's his.
my grandmother used to take me to the library so I could get biography books about my favorite old time movie stars, and that's when I became like the original Wikipedia. Like everyone would ask me for trivia questions until the internet came, and then once the internet came, nobody asked me anymore.
Are you glad they didn't ask you?
I'm glad I don't get it anymore, but sometimes, I feel kind of left out. And so I wish, certain people did. I mean, my brother still does just because he's lazy. But for the most part, I wish more people did.
Well, it's so funny is one summer I was really bored, and I was my dad. I was staying with my dad, and he had this book that he had gotten. It'd been out for a while, but
Hmm.
he had this book, and it was by Norman Mailer, and it was about Marilyn Monroe, right?
Hmm.
And I remember I read the whole thing, and I became this like aficionado about Marilyn Monroe. But now there's like Marilyn
Hmm.
Monroe, you can find anything you want to know about Marilyn Monroe. But I remember I thought I got obsessed with her for a little while because I thought she had such an interesting life.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you ever read anything about her, but she was,
I'm a huge
she.
Marilyn fan. I've done a couple tributes to her on the show.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I hope they have. I know I keep bringing this kind of stuff up, but her house is in Brentwood, or like the last house that she lived in,
Hmm.
or she bought, and she lived in it too. But they wanted the person that bought it wants to either tear it down or something, and so they're trying to fight it to make a historical monument.
Hmm.
And I think they should, because LA doesn't have a lot of stuff like old stuff.
Yeah, sadly. What was your first concert?
Oh gosh, my first concert was probably I had, like I said, my friend's older sister took us to see, gosh, was it Kiss? I think I was a little kid when we went to go see. Did you ever see Kiss?
I've always
Kiss.
wanted to, but like by the time I came of age, they started getting pricey, and now they're very pricey.
Yeah, I think. Gosh, I want to say like she dragged us to a Kiss concert, and which was perfect for little kids because they're like, they're like they're like a cartoon,
Yeah.
I mean, but they're good, but they have good songs.
Yeah, lots of good
Kiss
songs.
has good, yeah. And then funnily enough, okay, what was my con? And then when I was and these guys have been around forever, so I've seen the Rolling Stones, I've seen the Rolling Stones like three times. But you were asking me what my first concert was. So then my dad when I was a little kid, took me to see. Gosh, I was probably like 14, maybe. Took me to see Linda Ronstadt, because I told you I was a big fan,
Yep.
and that was like, for me, because she was one of my idols when I was a kid, because my dad would turn me on to her, right?
Do you know
And
Do you know Jenny Shore? She's a punk rocker from the '70s.
what's her name?
Jenny Shore, Genevieve Shore.
No, I should
She,
check her out. Is she
she wa-
good?
yes, she was Linda Ronstadt's costumer for years back in like the '80s, and they're very close to this day. And she's told me some stories about her.
Is she a costumer still?
No, she's kind of retired. She also did it for the Bengals and lots of other people. But yeah, back in the '80s, after the punk rock thing fizzled out for her, she went into costuming.
Oh wow. So okay, so she was a punker and then she became a costumer.
Yeah, and she has a memoir out.
Really? I love memoirs. I'll check that out. So what kind of stories did she tell you about Linda Ronstadt? Anything good?
Just good. Yeah, she loves her. They're very close to this day, and it's so sad that she can't sing anymore, and
I know.
that's why we don't see her. But yeah, I've always been a Linda Ronstadt fan. I remember when she was on The Simpsons, when Barney's doing his Plow King infomercial. And she's singing, Mr. Plow is a loser, and I think he is a boozer.
Yeah. She's very bright. Like I said, I've been following her since, gosh, maybe I was like 10 years old, maybe even younger than that, because my dad, he he was, my dad was not a musician. He was not a singer, but he loved music. So when he saw that I was, had a voice and that I was into music, he was always trying to educate me about, artists, right?
Yeah.
And, or at least ones that he liked. And so he's like, you got to check her out. You got to check her out. And so, I just, so I knew about her even before a lot of my friends, even to this day, a lot of my friends still don't even know about her, even though she was like this huge, artist, right? And she's kind of like me, like she has eclectic taste. So she kind of went from the country rock thing to, she did musical theater even. She was on Broadway, Pirates of Penzance. And but then she lost her voice, maybe about 10 years ago now, 15, I don't know. But yeah, I was a big Linda Ronstadt fan because she kind of broke some barriers too.
Yeah.
Because she was one of her and the group Heart. Do you remember Heart?
Heart, yep, I'm a big Heart fan.
Yeah.
And she also, had the Eagles backing her up before they were
right.
the Eagles. They were their own little wrecking crew for country rock at first.
Yes, that's so true. You're right. Good. It's good that you're up on all that stuff. Yeah. They. I think I read that so she played with them. I never got to see them. I was too young when they were all doing all that stuff. When they were, I don't know when she got together. Let's see, when was that? When she got together with the Eagles? Gosh, was it in the 60s or the late 60s?
Like maybe 70 or so.
Oh, 70. Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. I'm losing. It's not early, but it's too early for me. But anyway, she was playing with them. I know that they were her first band, and but they were writing with like Jackson Browne and everybody, and she saw that they had talent. And one thing I've heard about her is that she is not the type to hold somebody back. She's very generous. Like if she sees, she'll help you basically, So that when they were like, we're going to become our own band, and she was like, yeah, you guys should. And that was really great because the Eagles went on to become like this huge, huge, huge band,
Yeah, I've seen Joe Walsh live.
You have?
He's great, I'll tell you. He did a tribute to Glenn Frey because he had just passed, and it was really heartfelt. And he did his solo stuff. He did James Gang in a couple Eagles tunes. It was great.
Yeah. I've heard from all people that know him that he's like really nice guy. And then I read somewhere on the internet where like Stevie Nicks was like, he was the love of my life, and I was like, Joe Walsh? Oh, okay. Well.
Oh, yeah. That Tom Petty song, Don't Come Around Here No More, is about the two of them.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
Dave Stewart from the Eurythmics, who wrote that song, he was at a party that Stevie Nicks threw, and he woke up the next day. She was wearing an Alice in Wonderland costume because she was going to a costume party that night, and her and Walsh were getting into a fight, and she said, "Don't come around here no more," and that's where the song came from.
Oh, wow. You know a lot of music trivia. Bravo for you.
I do.
Good for you. That's so awesome. Yeah, so you were just as much into music as you were like old movies and stuff,
Yeah, those have always been my wheelhouses, and television, of course. I recommend seeing Alice Cooper in concert. That guy is vaudeville. He's keeping vaudeville alive. I mean, he dies at the end of every show, and it's just great. And he'll do, God, so many songs. He'll do 25 songs at least. I mean, he does a lot.
That's so interesting that you say that because I've never seen Alice Cooper, and he has some really good songs though. I mean, like I heard one on the radio the other day randomly, and I was like, that was like still like a classic. Like I think it was "School's Out" or something.
Yeah, "School's Out."
And I was like, there's so many plays on words in his little verses. And I thought, whoever wrote a song, I mean, I'm assuming he wrote the songs, but whoever wrote the songs, they're good songs. But unfortunately, I've never seen him live. But, the funny thing about Alice Cooper is that he's really kind of conservative, I think, and I thought it's just, I've read some things about him that he's very conservative. I'm like, he doesn't seem like the type that would be conservative,
Well, he's for the most part apolitical, but like, if someone asks him, he'll be honest about it. But as long as he's not spreading hate like Ted Nugent does, I have no problem.
Oh, That's so true. I was saying that about Gene Simmons. Getting back to Kiss, like he's really smart. I've met him at different functions, and he loves to talk about, business and things. And I know he's real patriotic, but I don't feel like he's patriotic in a weird, like Trumpian kind of way.
Yeah. Did he hit on you?
Um, did he hit on me? I don't know. I was so young, I can't tell. Back then I never thought anyone was hitting on me. So
He's very flirty. He's very flirty.
yeah, I know, And maybe he was in his own subtle way, but I was with somebody that he knew, so hopefully he was being respectful. But you know who did hit on me? I'll tell you a little gossip story for you. And I was really young. I was with the same person, and he took me to see Steven Seagal, who was in a band. Did you know that Steven Seagal used to be, or still is, a musician?
I heard, yeah.
And he was getting an award for something. It was like a humanitarian award or something, because he did something that he was getting an award for. I remember that. So we went to go see him perform, and he was with his keyboard player. We knew the keyboard player really well. And my boyfriend was a musician, and so anyway, so we go to this function. I can't even remember where it was, but it was in LA somewhere. And then Steven Seagal came up, and he was like, hi, I'm Steven Seagal. This was before the show, right? And I said, oh yeah, I know, because I knew who he was, of course, right? And so he was, shook his hand to shake my hand. He said, I'm Steven Seagal. I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. And then I introduced him to my boyfriend. And then after the show, there was like a little meet and greet and a party, and we came to the party, and he was like, he made a beeline towards me, and he goes, I'm Steven Seagal, and I said, yeah, I know, I met you like before the show with my boyfriend who was standing right next to me. And he was like trying to, take kind of control the situation.
Yeah.
So afterwards, the keyboard player told me, yeah, he wanted your phone number, but I said, no, she's with him, which was my boyfriend. So it was kind of funny because he was very aggressive. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I've heard stories.
I'm sure you've heard that story from others, because I heard he was very aggressive with a lot of people, right?
Yeah. So, I really enjoyed being on your podcast last October, and I've been watching it. I think you're doing so great with it. I wanted to ask you, when you did your show with your friend Kelly, you had Gigi Peru on. How did you get her?
Gigi. Well, it's pronounced Gigi. She pronounces it Gigi.
Yeah, how did you get her?
Oh, it's funny. I should ask her again. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, so I had she was not really my aunt by blood, but she was kind of an aunt figure. Let's just put it that way. The one that was in the TV Academy.
Yeah.
And she recently passed, and she was good friends with Gigi. They played tennis together. And I became friends with Gigi. I still am friends with her. She lived in, she moved to Arizona, and I think she moved back. But she's just a wonderful, wonderful person. She was on the Brady Bunch, she told me.
Yeah.
She told me, right?
Yeah.
Did you see that episode?
Yeah, and her and I have a mutual friend who tried to connect us, but it never happened and stuff. So I was just curious because she's a legend. I'd love to talk to her.
Yeah, I could try. I can ask her for you. I mean,
that'd be great.
I haven't talked to her in a long, long time. But let's see, how long has it been? Well, actually, it was when my friend Joan passed. She came to the celebration of life, and that's the last time. So that's been over a year and a half now. But we're still good friends, like through Facebook and stuff. We'll text each other, message each other, and but I'll ask her for you.
That would be great.
But you know what? I'm sorry to end this again early, but I have to get going because I have some business I got to take care of.
It's perfectly fine, love. I'll talk to you privately later on, but yes. I thank you so much for coming back and finishing the nerd out. Real quick, do you have anything you want to plug? I know you got the episode tomorrow. You're dropping with Martha Davis.
Thank you for asking. Yeah, Candid with Kimbra, which you can find on YouTube, but also the podcast Playground, Martha Davis of the Motels. And I may have an interesting celebrity coming up. Well, Yeah, he's a celebrity. He may be coming on in the next month. I'm trying to get him right now. I don't want to say it just in case he doesn't come on.
Yeah.
but everybody who can, find me on YouTube or Podcast Playground, because I think you'll like this Martha Davis one. If you're a fan of her music, we talk about her new music and her upcoming tour. And I'm going to go see her at the House of Blues in Anaheim or the Palladium, because I know she's playing there too. But yeah, for me that was a really great coup because I loved her songwriting,
Yeah,
and her voice.
that's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to that one. Well, you have yourself a great rest of your day. Be safe, and mwah, here's my kiss.
Thanks, Tommy. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Kimbra Westervelt, ain't she a sweetheart? God, I just friggin' love her. Just an absolute down-to-earth sweetheart, and great stories there about Gene Simmons and Steven Seagal and Martha Davis. God, check out that episode tomorrow. That is fabulous. I'm a huge Motels fan. I don't feel that Martha Davis does enough interviews, and I think there's no better way than to do one with Kimbra Westervelt. Well, until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.